I coached my kids' football team a year after that, and the game was over, my kids were getting ready, the team is going on, and this coach is jogging across me. And I see him and I go, hi. He goes, hey, are you brought my life? Yeah, it was great. He was the other coach. He says, you created Deadpool, right? I said, I did. Got something I advertised, I'm not gonna lie. And my son says, Dad, what are you doing? Why are you saying you created Deadpool? And he goes, son, your dad created Deadpool. And then on the way home, I explained to my dad, like, my kid's like, yeah, okay, sorry, I didn't tell you earlier. And they're like, I still can't wait. And they're like, it's on Google. Crap. So that was fun. But they liked it without me. And then they came over without me. That was fun. That was so awesome as a parent. And then obviously the movies came, more toys, and more games, and more cartoons. And Ryan Reynolds, so Deadpool was a giant fan favorite, super popular. I mean, 20 toy figures, 10 statues, 5 video games. But when Ryan Reynolds became Deadpool, he became a global phenomenon. And I understood, oh, popular is here, global phenomenon is here. And that is absolutely 100% based on the fact that Ryan is Deadpool and brought him to us and we loved him. And the great thing about that you need to remember about Deadpool 1 and 2, I still can't believe. 1 came out in 2016 and 2 came out in 2018. It was 2 years. They gave you 2 really great, fun, awesome, and obviously I'm done here. I'm going to deal with that for a while. Okay, so that's what I do. I've been doing it for 34 years. I love it. I've become old doing it. I will become older, as old as I can. I love it. I'm enjoying it now more than I ever have. After a certain point, it gets easier. It's always a grind. Nothing is more scary than a blank page to fill up from the top to the bottom. But I told you that we're going to do questions. I'm going to look at my phone. All right, we have plenty of time for questions. If you have one, you may ask me a question. Stand up. If I can't hear you, I'll run to you. Or I'll just keep asking myself questions. Does anyone have a question? Over here, come on over. So that everyone can hear this. I don't know how long you have to wear that mask still. I can't answer that. Okay, here you go. You have a mic. She has a proper mic. Is your name by chance Mike? That would have been a great opportunity. Okay, go ahead. Gabby, Mike. Oh, also, the guy who introduced me, he said my name better. Let me do this. My whole life, some of you go every first of the school year. My name is kind of ugly because it's been misspelled my whole life, mispronounced. One second. And the guy said, Rob, whatever. He said it's so nice. I'm like, can you just follow me around and say my name? So my whole life, first grade, second grade, third grade, they're doing the list, and all my friends had cool names like Williams and Adkins and Easy. And then the teacher, they think here's where I'm going to show them how to pronounce this name, Rob Layfield. And I'm like, it's like it's just like the way it's spelled. Next year, 4th grade, and here's Rob Layfield. It's just life out. It's just life out. So my son and I, we're in Italy, and there's a comic store in Italy. I don't know what it's called, but it's cool. It's in Florence, and we go there because I'm looking for Italian editions of my work. And I walk in the door, and the guy's behind the counter. He says, "My son is with me," and my son got a big stick out of this. He goes, "It's you, Lefeld?" And I go, "It is me, Lefeld." And I'm like, I'm just going to call myself Lefeld for the rest of my life. But that guy said my name pretty cool. So sorry, I just killed you in 5 minutes and you're never getting back, okay? You have a question, because your name's not Mike.
First off, thank you for being here.
I loved it. I love being here.
You're an inspiration to
The home of Camel Comics, yes.
I'm curious. What was your basic salary?
Basic salary?
Yeah, starting off as a comic artist, and plus, did you get bonuses? What was it?
Great question. I don't mind telling you. So when I first broke in I think, thank you. He asked what my salary was, especially growing up. And it's funny, the great thing about Marvel Comics is that there's an editor-in-chief named Jim Shooter. He's kind of a controversial guy, which I understand, because I became a controversial guy, which is always so fun. He instituted royalties to keep Marvel competitive with all that was going on in the world in the 80s. That's why when I saw all these deals, like, I'm like, wait a second, does it mean I get 5% of every character I create? I'll do that deal. I was doing all these characters, and they were going well, so one day I get a call. It's my buddy Tom McFarlane. Barton, why are you creating all these characters? Everyone's saying, Life's creating all these characters, and why aren't you creating characters? And I'm talking just like him. Doubt me, go listen to how he talks. As I'm saying him, I feel him as possessed me. And I said, Todd, the deal is the same for you as it is for me. 5%, that's a good deal. Because I'm trying to plant trees. I dug a hole, Cable. I dug a hole, Deadpool. I dug a hole, Domino. I was like, I'm going to plant all the trees I can. Because my favorite character of all space and time will always be Wolverine. And I was like, if I can create the next Wolverine, because I was there, kids, I pulled the first Wolverine comic off the spinner rack when I was 9 years old. I'm like, who's this fighting the hole? Holy shnikes! And the X-Men was the dullest comic ever. A guy with wings. I do this thing about the original X-Men and why they were boring and they were canceled. Do you know that before I'm going to get to your salary, I'm just building up to it. Before the giant size new X-Men hit, in 1975, do you know that the X-Men was in repeats? It was a reprint book, bi-monthly. They had stopped making new X-Men comics 4 years earlier. They were just keeping it in circulation. Occasionally they'd make a new cover of an old story. But I'm going to tell you, the old X-Men bored the crap out of me. They were in a couple of issues of Captain America before Giant Size X-Men. And I have a thing about the X-Men. Okay, and this is why everything changed. And I said earlier, they became the #1 comic for 20 years. I'm going to tell you why. This is science. I'm giving you science right now. So you got Cyclops, Marvel Girl, Iceman, the Beast, and Angel. Let me go through their powers. They are either temple touchers or arm casters. Oh no, Professor Xavier and Jean Grey, they will touch their temples. Okay, that's not exciting. It's not exciting in a comic book. And then, wait a second, the Beast is going to bounce towards you. Okay, I almost fell. That was right. Okay, then Iceman, I will freeze you. Armcaster, and wait, who's coming to save the day? I'm Angel, bitches. Okay? The most boring group of characters ever. Okay? On the Avengers, Iron Man's like, I got my tech machine, I'll blast you with my repulsors, I'll fly, I've got golden armor. Captain America's like, look, I have a shield. I just threw it in your face. It came back to me. Awesome. Let me do that again. Then Thor's like, I will slay you with my hammer. The hammer throws, comes back to him. He hits the ground shakes. He beats the crap out of your face. No, not yet. I'm doing this thing. Then we had a character called Swordsman. He grabbed his sword. Hawkeye, he's firing arrows at you. And then you go to the X-Men. Don't mess with us. Okay? That's why they were canceled. Then they put a guy with 6 knives on the group who'd be like, don't make me angry. Slash. And Colossus turns silver and throws you through a wall. The X-Men became exciting. Mostly for the Wolverine. You can't beat 6 knives. What did the Avengers have? A lot of weapons. What did the X-Men have? A lot of arm work. Superborn. The new X-Men came. I picked that comic off. Wow. I was just trying to create the new Wolverine. Starting rate for a penciler in 1987 was $100 a page. But 1987, 1986. So that's $2,200. I'm getting paid to do 22 pages plus cover. A cover is like double your page rates for $400. Woo! By the time I got on New Media Text course, I think I was making, because I was penciling, inking, and writing like $310 a page. But I told you those royalties kicked in. And did Daddy get $1 million check? Daddy got $1 million check when he was 22 years old. Like, hot damn! Okay. On my Instagram, I put my Jeep, my 1990 Jeep Wrangler that has 45,000 miles on it. Because I never drive it. I drive it up the street, I drive it around, I don't take it on freeways, I loaned it to my sister-in-law, and that bitch took it to San Francisco and put 8,500 miles on mine, and I'm like, I loaned it to you because you were down and out without a car. I don't turn to my wife and I said, she drove my Jeep to San Francisco and all over the United States. Well, I didn't know. Oh, I was pissed. Man, you shouldn't have driven my car. San Francisco. Okay, so anyway, 8,000 plus miles on that Jeep from her. But we just kind of keep it in the family, and I put on there, I bought it with my New Mutants royalty check. New Mutants 100 sold 1 million copies. I got like a $270,000 check, and I will now imitate me getting that check. And wait a second, X-Force sold 5 million? So I got $1 million in royalties. Well, my dad came to me and said, son, I don't understand why you're leaving Marvel Comics. Seems like you're doing really good. He did what every great dad would do to their son. You seem like you're doing well. Why are you being reckless and going to start your own company? Because son, I see the checks you're making. I bought my mom and dad a house. They had fallen on hard times. I had shared a condo with them. I bought them a house, and it was one of my favorite things I was able to do for them. And no, it's just something you do when you love your family. And but it's funny. I said, Dad, this extraordinary numbers I'm getting from Marvel are from really high sales, and they're going to continue for a while. I mean, what people never ask me is what X-Force 2 sold. X-Force 2 sold 1.7 million copies. Like, after 5 million, the second issue, 1.7 million. We were making tremendous money. Myself, Todd McFarlane, and Jim, okay? Again, because I wrote X-Force, penciled X-Force, inked X-Force, I got 4 of 5 royalty points. That's what got me all the bucks. So page rates really didn't matter anymore. I haven't thought about a page rate since 1990 because I said to my dad, I said, I had done the math. I said, Dad, if Youngblood sells 150,000 copies, so I'm cutting down my copies almost 90%. I said, I figure Marvel won't follow me, Marvel fans won't like what I'm doing on my own. But if I sell 150,000 copies at $2.50, I'll keep $1.25, and I'll make 6 figures a month for a while. And you know, to do that at Marvel, I had to sell almost 1 million. So it was just the economics and the freedom of doing what we wanted. And see, I don't mind talking about this, especially because all these numbers are 30 years old. So, but have I gotten paid on every Deadpool toy, every Deadpool comic, every Deadpool, every cable? When you buy a cable toy, a Deadpool toy, for 30 years, I get a piece of that. A comic book written by anybody, I get a piece of that. That's what you do when you plant trees. And if I can go back in time, I know Ryan just made a movie called The Adam Project that's coming out on Netflix where he meets his younger self. I can go back and just hug my 19-year-old self and say, you took care of the family. Dude, you're a good kid. Stay the course. Be crazy like you are. Because, you know, I draw comic books. I put my kids through private school, college. We built a nice life on comic books, okay? And part of that is because I planted those trees and I get creator royalties on top of, you know, comic book royalties. So that is business, comic book business 101. It's a different business now. They changed the model, like all businesses change the model. It's not the same. That's how it was in 1990. Nowadays, guys don't do comics because they can make more money going to conventions every week in the United States. A good buddy of mine was doing comics, and he was busting his ass doing 22 pages. And he's like, I can make $4,000 doing this comic book once a month, or I can make $4,000 every week doing conventions, which is why some of your favorite artists stop drawing comics. I still do 100 pages a year. That's my minimum. I want to put out 5 issues of my work every year because I love drawing comics. And that's just my personal commitment. So that was long-winded. You got an excellent cosplay. You got Avengers. Come on, the Avengers were so cool. They had weapons. And the X-Men had boring people. Again, just think, if you were in trouble, Angel is your best option. That's bad. That's very bad. Okay, you, what, told you to wait? Do you have a question? You want to call me a name? Go ahead. You're done. Was my zipper down? You didn't want to tell me? Okay, all right. Who? You. Oh, mine is coming to you.
Yes.
Where are you from?
Originally from South Africa, but I live at the moment in Alain. It's like 1.5 hours from Africa.
Okay.
So the question I want to ask you is, when you started out doing your own writing comics, where did you get your inspiration for all the storyboards and all the backstories and all that stuff that you started?
So where do I get my inspiration from?
Yeah, how did you get your storyline?
What?
How did you get your storyline?
Look,
The character's backstory and all this.
you know, like, I can't tell you an upcoming storyline because then that'll give it away. I will tell you where my inspiration was, but if I give away the choice, then we'll see. So, just anything and everything at all times. I mean, okay, so I told you I loved Wolverine. Loved him. He was my favorite character. He's still my favorite character. I love the idea of Weapon X. And I called up Marvel and I said, Weapon X, that's Weapon 10, that's a Roman numeral. Yes. I said, correct me if I'm wrong, but we have yet to see Weapon 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They said, that's correct. I said, okay, I'm going to start developing this. I wanted Deadpool to be like a mistake before Wolverine. Well, there's a movie I went to see shortly after. Back in the 80s, a giant movie star was called Arnold Schwarzenegger. Okay? I'm Arnold Schwarzenegger. I will become your governor. Okay, so Arnold stars in a movie called Twins with Danny DeVito. I know where I was sitting, the time of the night, the girl I was dating, not my wife at the time, and we saw Twins. Because I'm like, what's the twist? How's Arnold and Danny twins, okay? Well, by the end, they meet the scientist. And in the third act, Arnold, obviously ripped and brilliant and gorgeous, and Danny kind of swarthy. They go, how are we twins? And the doctor says, well, you were all the good stuff. And Arnold goes, I was the good stuff. Like, I'm like good news. And Danny DeVito goes, what about me? And the doctor says, you are the crap. And Danny goes, I was the crap. And Arnold goes, you are the crap. And I'm like, that's it. Deadpool was the crap. Wolverine was where they perfected it. But Deadpool, they hadn't gotten it right yet. They made him look like a giant sick. And so I ran over and I said, so can I hop on some of that Weapon X action? Can I like jump on that Weapon X Wolverine train? And they said, Rob, you can do whatever the hell you want. Cable turned around New Mutants. We're selling 1 million copies now. Do whatever you want. I'm like, awesome. They're like, why is domino black and white? I said, if you ever play dominoes, because in my studio, I would line up dominoes. And again, when you line up dominoes, you kind of do it, offer a couple trails, and you wonder which trail it will follow. And I said to my editor, because there's luck involved. You don't know which way the luck's going to break on your domino trail. So people still didn't say, why did you make her black and white? You've seen a domino, not a pizza. Have you seen the game of dominoes? So, those are some answers. Come out of Twins, I got my story. See, I took it from Twins, I pulled him, and look, people don't remember this because you're all so young, but Spider-Man had become dark. Todd McFarlane, if you go back and look at that first year, that's when Spider-Man was at his most fun. He made Spider-Man dark because everyone was making every character dark because Frank Miller made Batman dark. And everybody wanted to do their Dark Knight. And that's why the first 5, 6 issues of Spider-Man with Todd is voodoo and craven and half of his body, and Mary Jane's leaving the marriage, and Peter's depressed and he's not getting paid, and it's sad. Find a joke in those first 6 issues. Good luck, you won't. The Spider-Man I grew up with was funny. So I said, so he's dead. He's Spider-Man with guns and swords. And they're like, yeah, go with that. That's fine. That sounds good. Okay? Cable was my level. Bruce Willis, Arnold Schwarzenegger, the $6 million man, the Terminator. It's obvious. Sometimes you just put it right out there for everybody to see. And sometimes it's like Domino, and 30 years later, people are, why is she named Domino? I can't help it. I'm done. Okay, so I hope I answered that question. That's a little bit inside of the craziness of my life. Okay, yes. She's so good with the mic. What's your name? You're fantastic.
I just really appreciate about Deadpool is how funny he is, and he's like such a humorous character.
And he's an asshole.
Like he's so likable.
Like your asshole.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, sorry.
And so we were part